Hello, Aquarius. Thank you very much for tuning into this week's read. For the main part of the read, I'm using the Morgan Greer Tarot. Boop. And the supportive oracle cards, Queen of the Moon Oracle by Stacey DeMarco. Okay, what do we have? Okay. Coming into this situation, there's a lot of good energy. There's a lot of good energy. Actually, a lot of your cards are really good. There's a lot of good things going here, actually, which is great. Coming into it, you got the Nine of Cups. So it's a situation where feels pretty good. I like how it's going. I feel like things work. I feel like things fit. Things seem pretty good, but this might actually lend into an energy kind of like maybe it's too good. It kind of like almost like I'm suspicious of it. Is it really that good, or am I ignoring something? Am I not seeing something? Like this seems suspiciously good. Leads into the self-reflection. How do I end into this? How do I add into this? What else am I dealing with? It seems like you're just double checking things. Like, are things really this good? Because it feels like I'm very happy. Am I ignoring something? Am I not seeing something? And I feel like what you're finding is other people around you are kind of working overtime to try to stay on point. People are trying to get done what they're supposed to get done. People are trying to make things work out. I'm getting the Knight of Cups with the Seven of Wands. Kind of like people are overcoming their problems. People are getting along. There are people here that sometimes you really don't get along with. And I feel like they're just kind of like stepping back and just not letting things get under their skin. They're just getting along because they prefer to get along. They don't want to have any adversity. And it's kind of like, really, usually sooner or later I have a problem with this person, but we're not arguing or having problems, so I guess that's fine. But you're also looking at it like, all right, that's fine. Like, it's kind of like, how much do I add into this? Or are they just deciding they don't want to have problems? Like, I don't know what's going on, really. I'm getting earth energy, which earth and air don't usually match. But I'm getting peace with the earth. Peace with the King of Pentacles. I don't know how this sounds, but this is how this is coming through, so I'm going to try to be careful with it. They're looking at you like you're a type of person. Like, not like you're a bad person, but like the type of person you are and the type of person they are. They seem to be admitting that like the two of you just don't jive on certain things. So they seem to be committing to like, they want to be happy. They don't want to argue. They don't want to have unnecessary problems. So instead of letting things you say get to them, they're just letting it brush on by. I feel like you don't really need to like really upset them or anything. It's not really what you're looking for, but once in a while you have provocative conversations. And I feel like you might notice that a lot of times they won't even participate in those conversations. Unless they feel like they have to talk with you, they don't want to talk to you. And I think you're okay with it. I think you're okay with it. This is their version of peace. They just kind of like check out. Unless they need to work with you or need to understand what you're talking about, if it's just a frivolous conversation or just a side conversation, they will literally just emotionally check out from it. Now, as this keeps coming forward, I do get that they can't all the time do that. Because I feel like you have some information you have to bring forward. And you got the will coming forward with the Ace of Swords, which is telling you a lot of communication has to come forward, a lot of things are coming forward, you have changes you're going to make. Because you got the Ace of Wands coming in afterwards. And it's kind of like you're communicating and saying, this is what's going to happen next, this is how I'm going to add into it, this is what I think about this, this is what we got to be prepared for. So you're coming forward and you're communicating. I feel like this is dipped down. So the other person, whoever you're dealing with, the way you're saying stuff, it just doesn't work for them. It's just a difference of how people work. Your way of communicating and their way of communicating do not jive, is what I'm getting. It's just the way you do things and the way you do things, just different, totally different way. They do seem to be bothered by some things you're saying, but I feel like they're just kind of like, they're trying to just mediate it out themselves. Is there a misunderstanding here? No, I don't think so. But I feel like they're trying to work with you. They don't like the way you say certain things. They just don't like it. Just however you say something, it just seems to get right under their skin. It's just a communication difference. And they take certain things offensively that you're not meaning offensive. And it's not that they're realizing you don't mean it offensively. That's not what's happening. What they're saying is, how they're handling it is like it's not worth getting upset about. So they're just like trying to ignore it. Like it's not really there. And the Ace of Cups comes in. That's the third ace in this reading. What one are we missing? The Pentacle one? Which is ironic because we have the King of Pentacles. But they're working with you. They're trying to get along. I feel like in some cases they might be just talking things out and they might be rehashing what you've already said in a different way just to see if they're on point with what you're thinking, and they're trying to not get upset about things. The Judgment card comes up in their favor. This is a situation where you're not looking to argue with them anyway. And when you realize what's going on, do you realize what's going on? Because I feel like you do. I feel like you see what's happening, and I feel like you pull your energy back. Once you realize that they're seeming to get offended and they're trying to not get offended, I do feel like you're trying to pull your energy back, kind of like there's no point to that. I'm not really looking to upset them. It's not really working. I know where that goes. If I really do, because you could if you wanted to, but you're just kind of like, yeah, but if I do piss them off, it will be forever and a day before they're over it. And it's kind of like, I'm not looking for that either. I feel like once you realize this person is kind of like trying to keep it under control, trying to not get offended the way you say things, you're not trying to offend anybody, but I feel like at the same time you're realizing, okay, it's not working, but they're trying to keep it together, so you try to work with it. You pull back your energy. Attraction is here. It's good. I'm getting that this next stage goes well. I feel like there's a lot of productivity coming out of this. Things go very well. Things work together very well. The other side is very stressed. It's almost like you're speaking different languages. The communication is just not working. They're constantly trying to keep it together and constantly trying to be careful not to get upset over little things. I do feel like this is going to keep going well. For a little while longer, at least. Now, this could go better. That's the thing. What I'm getting here is like, all right, the card says purity, but I'm not too big on that word right now. What I'm noticing is the person here with the cloth over their eyes. You could just let this keep going the way it is. With that version of this, you're kind of subjective. You're subject to how the other person is taking things. So this person is more to your liking when they're agreeable or when they're trying to get along with you. Works out better for both of you. And if you just kind of let it be and just kind of let it go the way it's been going, it puts all the power in their court for how and when you're going to get along, because it seems to be all about when they're willing to do that. Your other version of this is to try to meet them halfway and try to understand the differences a little more and try to let them get to know you a little better, in the sense of like you're not looking to mortally wound them. You're not looking to attack them. To like let them know that sometimes you just like to have provocative conversations. That it's not meant to offend people, that it's just meant to get the truth out of a situation and try to get a little deeper level of understanding about what's going on. That's another way for you to do this, to get a little closer to this person and try to help them understand your personality a little better. I don't know, I feel like that's a challenge. Because I feel like they want to get along with you. They got blossoming with this, the Six of Wands, they want to get along with you better. They really do. They're just thinking they can't. They're thinking their only option is just to ignore things you say and pretend you didn't say them, or just kind of like brush them off. They do get offended quite easily, I also get. So they might be a little bit sensitive like that. They might get offended easily. So this, see, it's going to take some work though. For this to go better, I also feel like what you have to do is you're going to have to kind of recoil every now and then. You're going to have like some relationship rules, I would say. Things can go better. And things, you could have more control over this. That's the thing. You could have more control over this. Realizing what triggers them and what doesn't. Realizing when things are going the wrong way and getting closer to them. Having them realize that you do value what they do. And kind of keeping that communication very clear and very on point. But at the same time, you're going to have to kind of, once in a while, just pull it right back. And just be like, all right, they're not going to be able to handle me today, so I'm just gonna write them a note and just bullet point what needs to be done and just leave it alone and just walk away. I'm just gonna let them know that, and that's how we're gonna handle this. I feel like if this slips back, like if this slips into a moment where the two of you aren't getting along again, it could stick there for a long while. It's kind of like this good period is lasting, and it doesn't seem like it has to end, but it's subject to you kind of moving towards them and trying to work it out a little more to understand like what's going on with them, pulling back your energy more often, and just trying to get involved with it, trying to understand, because I do feel like they're very sensitive, whoever this person is. If it slips back, or if it slips into a moment where it's not going well, when you get the Three of Swords, I feel like it could be a very difficult moment where they're constantly getting in your way. I just feel like it's more of an annoyance than anything else. It becomes a problem constantly. The Hanged Man tells me if it goes into a negative time where they become very difficult to deal with, it's going to be a while before that changes again. It just feels like it's going to last for a long while before it's easy to get along with them again. So they're like, I feel like they're saying you can avoid that, but you have to kind of advance towards them, try to help them understand your personality better, try to understand because I feel like they're very sensitive. Try to understand when you need to just completely pull back so things don't go wonky. It shouldn't be all the time. It shouldn't be that stressful for you. It's just kind of like probably handling it more with a kid's glove situation, but because it's worth it, not because you want to. That's what I'm getting. All right. I think we're there. I'm going to shut this down here. I hope that helps. Thank you for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James the number 4, astral@gmail.com. Thank you.